Okay, like I said, I gotta do this ignition switch again. But there's an alternate way to do this in this. You can pull the wheel off, or I'm gonna drop the whole column, take the whole column out. The only thing left that I didn't do last time, you drop the bolts, the only thing holding it was the pinch bolt, which is right there. What a horrible filmer. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna take the whole column out, do it on the bench. And I think when you do it that way, you can slide it out. Slide the whole shaft out the bottom to get to the back of the ignition switch. Right. I give up. It's right there. Anyway, there's no. All right. So like I said, I decided to do this the other way. We take the whole column out of the car. Columns out. 2 bolts down there. The pinch bolt. Put it in the vise. Steering wheel off. Switch off. This pinch bolt. Now you can just tap that. The whole center comes off. That way you don't have to deal with this puller. I had to rent a puller before to get this off. Now I can just take the whole center off to get to the switch bolt, which is, let me slide this right out for you guys. There it is down in there. Ooh, it's going to be tight, but I was told you can do it this way. Just get in there with little Phillips. We'll see. Be back in a minute. Wow. It's kind of in an angle, but it's just enough I'm able to grab that screw to get onto the back of this. So it is possible. Actually, a little jeweler's screwdriver is best, but it's so narrow, the angle. A cheap screwdriver had to do it. Cheap. Because it's so thin. Well, it looks like I'm able to do it this way. All right, here we are again. I think I've discovered, let's just show you 2 different switches here. The new one is the white one and the black one. Look at the size difference in these tabs here. This is going to engage into this lock cylinder. This one's like really narrow. That's just the difference between aftermarket and I think this is factory, or it's just 2 different brands. So it's not going to fit as nice. Also, lock cylinder is a Miley. These have to fit in here and engage. This is what makes your door chime. Sorry, gotta get over here. This is gonna fit in here. That's what makes your door chime. It's gonna compress in there. So that means this is gonna move in and out smoothly in here. Well, this fits in both of these switches like a rock hard. You gotta like shove it in there. I think that's why the steering lock is not going to work either. And my door chime isn't going to work because this has to move in and out of there. So what good is that? So I don't want to shave down the switch, so I'm going to shave down a little bit of metal on this. See if that works. I think that's going to be my issue. See if I can show you what I did here. We could focus. So I filed that down, and this is how it's supposed to work. If I can get it together. Ah, there we go. This should slide in and out, and you can feel there's a detent in there. And that's what turns on your door chime. So yeah, this has to move in and out freely. Both these switches were tight, and when that comes back, that has to retract. And when that retracts back to this position, that's your steering lock. So none of that stuff was working. Now, as far as the electrical connection and switch, And starting, let's see if that's fixed too. I just realized too that this whole shaft, there's enough play in that spring. See this? This whole thing will move over. That way you can get to that screw I was fighting with. So yeah, this is the way to do it for me. Don't have to deal with puller and that bullshit. Alright, before I get it all column back together, let's show you how it's supposed to work. Oh, what's that? Moves in and out. Key in the ignition works. Let's see if it starts. Sorry, should have got the tripod. Still not working there, ignition-wise, but steering lock works. Still might have a bad switch. Let's, this is the original switch, which I said wasn't working all the time anyway. Let me play with this a little bit. Okay, so still fighting this ignition switch. This is the original factory. Let me focus on that. This is the aftermarket. Every aftermarket. I have two different ones there. Casting's different. Number one, this channel is, I measured, is wider and narrower. And this depth here is wrong. This has got a cover that can't go over this housing. Another thing, the retaining clip here that holds it in, here's the factory, it's narrower. So this will fit into the channel to lock the cylinder in. This one will not. It's too wide. I'll show you when you turn this to start the vehicle, because here's the whole problem. These cylinders don't go far enough. So if I start in, square that up for you, that position to start it, and do the same with the original. I'll show you side by side. Let's get that squared. That's straight that way. There's a total angle difference. This one goes this much further. Okay, it's very hard to show you guys, but I've measured all this. And that difference makes between the car starting and not starting. That angle right there, that twisting all the way, that's starting. This is not starting. It's just aftermarket shit. I don't know how anybody can put any of these parts in their car. Alright, now this is all brand new. Checking resistance between the two terminals. I did the brand new housing just in case this bore was a little fucked up. A Miley switch with a Miley ignition tumbler. Finally got the spring to lock into the groove. I had to file it down. And then go to start. And we got continuity finally. Once. Twice. 3 times. I mean, I did this in the car. With the other setup, it lasted a week or two. But everything is such tight tolerances. And you see, now it stopped. It's not working. You got to put like 2, 3, maybe even 5 pounds of torque to twist it. I mean, the tolerances are so tight. Like, that's a lot of slop. It's just disgusting, the crap they make. But this is all Miley, except for the housing is this other company, Viaco or something. I'm going to just swap that out on the column and put this back in the car. What a lot of work, a lot of wasted time. Ridiculous. But factory tumbler, like I said, they turn that much further that you don't have to deal with this. Like, Except I think, I didn't even look at Volkswagen. I don't even know if they're available, but they're like, I heard they were like, what I saw was $200. There's just, this one's broken. This one seems to be like better metal than the aftermarket. I was thinking with the aftermarket, even just, I think it's pot metal though. I think you can't, if you heat it, it's just going to break. But I was just going to give it a little twist. But man, what a pain in the ass. But I ended up filing down this on the one that works now to get it to fit into the groove. Otherwise, the lock cylinder was falling out. It's like, this is why I worked in a dealer, because it was all factory parts, so you didn't have to deal with this bullshit. Okay, now that situation is unfucked. We're gonna, I gotta get this new piece onto the shaft. Like I said, the second time I took the whole column out. It was a lot easier. That way I didn't have to take this off with a puller. But now, it fits nicely in the vise, as you can see. And we're gonna give it some love taps. And this is now my press. The old vise. Maybe even a little lubricant. You know how I'm a fan of lubricant on everything. That might seep down there enough to press that off. And I don't think I need to worry about my notch in the shaft. No, because the whole thing spins. It doesn't matter. So, just taking note. Okay, that worked out nice. Pressed straight out. A couple whacks of the hammer and wood. I'm just tightening it, acting as a press, bringing it up into where it's supposed to be. Probably could do this in the car too, but I think it'll be easier to do it now. Let's see. I have everything right. Cool. All right, and this is simply where we put this back together. I think that's gonna need a little love tap. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, I'm going to call this ignition switch done. I'm still not 100% satisfied, of course, but steering wheel's locked. So yeah, I took it for a ride, came back, and it was hard to turn. Right there, that's fully locked. Turned. You gotta like turn it, and like I said, a lot of force. It's just the way this aftermarket crap is, I'm telling you. I don't know. It's gonna have to do. Everything's new. Could just do a nice starter button right here. That'd be kind of cool. Flip down button. I don't know, we'll see. And got the shifter good to go. Drove it. First is a little tough, but just going like that, going back a hair, I was able to get it. I could do another adjustment. It's just bringing it over there. That's all it is. The adjustment is just bring it over a little bit. And they want you to shim right here. That's what the tool does. It shims right there. So I had this nice book in there, Blood Type B, Food and Beverage and Supplement List. Really good book. I highly recommend you get it. Dr. Peter no, I have no idea. It was the right thickness. So I shoved it in there. That and one of these nice value packs was the perfect thickness. But it's probably a little too soft. That's why I have to go back and give it a little tweak. But wrapped up that for now. Next, gonna look at why Is that directional flashing fast?